Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. This is the week 189 update for the Darth Loquitur account. I update this account's progress every week, go through all the character ships, mods, Datacrons, whatever we're doing for the account so that you all can follow along. Please remember, as we get started, if you could hit that like button, it does help me, it helps the channel, and I would appreciate if you could do that. All right, getting into this week. I really wanted to work on Marin as my next relic, get that ready to go for GAC. But she has a lot of the same gear repeated over and over again, and I just couldn't get all of the pieces together. But we do have the upgrade button on Barriss, and she's one of the other characters that was on my to-do list, so we're going to do her and put her onto the Queen Amidala team. We'll take her up to Relic 5. We need her to be durable enough. We don't want any weak links in that team where they can start picking us apart and taking out characters. We just want as much as we can to keep the team alive and make it annoying for people in GAC. The Remnant has been Relic 1 because I've been out of Bronzium wiring. I did manage to catch up a bit on Bronzium wiring over the course of the last few weeks, so we're going to go in here and we're going to take these characters to Relic 3. So 3 of the Remnant going to Relic 3. That'll make me able to use Datacrons in a better way because, of course, Relic 3 is going to enable all the Datacron bonuses. So we're going to do that and get them up and running. Okay, that's a lot of Bronzium wiring. It kind of feels rough, you know, putting 240 Bronzium wiring on those guys feels, oof, interesting. How much of a sacrifice that feels like. Here we're going to put Relic 8 onto our Grand Inquisitor. The Inquisitors are up and running. They're doing a good job at what they do. But I figure it's good to take the Grand Inquisitor up to 8, get him as damaging as possible. We'll lock down all the pieces on Marin and get her ready for a Relic next week, hopefully. We still have enough for one more Cairo. I think I can apply a Cairo here and not have to worry too much about not being able to Relic Marin next week. So we'll go in there, and then we'll work on Saw Gerrera, finish out some of his skills, get him prepped and ready to go for later. Then we're going to take a look at mods for the week. We strip down, sell off, work on the gray mods, and get a group here to work on. First one we miss. Second one we get 9 speed. I'm willing to take those from green to blue, but not from blue to purple if they've only got 9 speed. Here we've got 12 speed on 3 rolls, so I try it again. Here we get 11 speed, but even though it's only 11 speed and normally I would stop, we're rolling into percent offense all over here. So I do take it up to 6 dots and I do some slicing. We get the 3rd speed roll, which is nice. I slice it up a little more, and we end up with 4 rolls in flat offense, 4 rolls in percent offense, and not that great of speed on it, but still, even though it didn't turn out to be a great speed mod, I think that's a very highly offensive mod, so we need those these days, and that's a good mod to have. A few more here that we're getting these 9 speed rolls, 12 speed here. We get this to 19 speed. It does have health as a primary stat on a defense mod, so I go ahead and take it to 6 dots. And it ends up with 5 rolls being a 20 speed mod. Not great, but still, it's a 20 speed mod, right? It's a 20 speed mod, which is better than nothing. Here we've got 11 speed on 3 rolls. We go ahead and try that, but miss. Here we've got 10 speed, and we're willing to take that to purple. Here we get 14 speed. We hit it again. Offense mod with 14 speed. Its substats aren't the greatest, so we'll take a pass on taking that up to 6 dots for now. Here's another 10 speed mod. We hit 3 speed. Again, it's borderline, but I go ahead and try again. We miss speed. And we're starting to run out of materials here pretty quickly. 11 speed on 3 rolls. We're not too interested in proceeding with that. All right, purple and gold mods we work on. We get this protection mod. Protection main stat with speed substats. And there's a bunch of characters now that could make use of this. And it's got a bunch of offense, percent, and flat offense. So again, we spend a little more time on that mod trying to make it even better. But yeah, still quite a bit of offense with a protection main stat. Characters like Gas and Inquisitors make good use of that kind of stuff. All right, continuing to work on the different mods here. So I think today's mod building is a good example to talk about, because most of the time I just go for speed on mods, and I'm really just trying to get the maximum potential speed. But there is a case where, you know, if you're rolling on stats that are still good for the mod. Here we roll up to a 25 speed mod. We do some re-rolls on this. And then I decide that it's too good for Barriss, so I get it up to 25 speed, and then I'm like, yeah, she doesn't need anything that good. So we're looking at skills on Barriss here to see if she needs any potency. And of course, really not a driving need for her to have potency, so we're going to end up stealing some mods from somebody here eventually. So I'm looking through everything. And I don't know if you guys find it like this, but when you want a character that's kind of in the middle, and you need them to have mods that are good, you don't want to use your best mods, but you still need mods that are, you know, really good. You end up trying to steal from whoever you can, and it's kind of a quandary, because making other medium characters worse for the sake of another character is hard to. Anyway, 90,000 on offense here, and we do have a pretty good chunk of armor because we did use defense mods. So the armor here at 65%. And remember, Barriss's Zeta is going to give us healing when things critical hit us, so it's going to make the team harder to kill. That's her purpose in the Queen Amidala team. I buy this currency for Datacrons with shard shop currency, so I've got some. This is the week before Conquest launched, so I was able to get together some money to keep working on Datacrons. I've started doing that. Shard shop currency, I have enough of it that I can spare. I feel like it's not that big of a burden to go ahead and buy some more stuff, some more Datacron money. I realized here that my Radis capital ship had never been taken up on levels. So we get the 6th star, and then also we're going to spend a bunch of prestige, take it up to level 85, and work on all these skills. I'm not going to work on the basic skill, because if it gets down to where I'm using a basic on the Radis, it's probably already gone pretty badly. Here we're going to work on Ray's Millennium Falcon, finish out the last few skills here. Cassian's U-Wing will take K2SO up to gear 12, finish out a couple skills on him, finish out a few of the last remaining upgrades on Cassian's U-Wing, and just make that ship as good as possible. We're using it all the time in the Profundity fleet, of course. It's also a ship that, on offense, can be very effective in the First Order fleet. So that's also something that I use it for. All right, that's going to wrap up the upgrades for the week in the account. Pretty good progress overall. We really, you know, had a broad range of stuff. We worked on mods, Datacrons, characters, got some relics upgraded further. And this was the week that they had the Gungan fill-in event, of course. So we were spending extra currency on some of the refreshes and getting all the Gungans that we could. So that gave us a better than usual week in terms of progress. So that's nice. We'll take it. And getting the Remnant up to Relic 3, I think, also was a nice little added touch on top. Well, like I said, that much bronzium wiring just for a few low relic levels. Still, it's amazing how how hard it is for me to click that button, because I know I'm going to need that bronzium wiring. I'm going to be short on it for other characters here in the near future, you know. But I thought that was the best use of it, so we did it. Week 189, we're up to 9.58 million galactic power. We got 170 relics, 146 zetas, 24 omicrons. JMK is getting us the top 50 in the squad arena. Combination of Profundity and Chimera can get us top 5 in fleet every day. In GAC, we're Kyber 2. I had a pretty good run on Kyber 2 and 3s, actually, so we're kind of right in the middle of Kyber 2. And then we'll work on Marin for next week. I feel like we'll be able to get there. For energy, we're farming Kellerman, Backpass, Bombardier, IG-12, and the Phalanx out of fleet. Signal data, slicing and mods, we're still doing a 3-4 split where we're spending our money there. And the reason why we're, let's say, farming so much slicing materials routinely, partly is because obviously we want higher level mods, but also at this level of the mid game, there are good mods that show up in the mod shop, and that is another avenue to get mods. And I only buy, like, let's say 2 or 3 a week out of there because I'm using currency for upgrades and you're still leveling up characters and all that stuff. But it is good use of your currency later on in the game. So we need slicing materials to work on those as well. Refresh strategies, 3 across the board for now. 2024 planning, we're doing the Conquest journey and doing the Gungans for the raid. In Gear 12, we're looking to get Zalbar or Darth Revan to Gear 12 someday. Get those next steps of the Darth Revan journey done. Tier 3 farming, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, of course, we're finishing that off. And then the characters for the Beskar bow, and then the Gungans. And then there's some ideas for relics to work on, but we haven't had to tap into that for a while. Relic priority order, when I looked at this list, it kind of surprised me this week because everything's done except Marin. We've done all of the stuff that we talked about and put on the list. Cal Kestis is done, Amidala got done, Barriss, Marin and Seer will be done out of that journey, and then Padme, Relic or Padme. So now we're just working forward. I'll have to go next week and take a look at that and reset the priority list for relics going, let's say, forward and backwards. For this week's topic, I want to talk a little bit about what I'll call the Leviathan problem. In my account, the Sith Empire are an example of a really good team that I've never been able to build, and it feels like I could never go back and put resources on them. So people have asked in the Ask Loquitur channel and talked to me on the side and said, hey, with Leviathan, with some of this older stuff, with some people who weren't in on the Jabba and Jedi Master Luke journeys are sort of trying to figure out how to juggle going forward with some of the older content. And I keep advising everybody to just go forward, look at the new raid, look at the new content, and make sure that you're keeping up on that if you're a mid-game player. If you're new to the game, if you're in your first year of play, the right choice is to go back and do the older characters because they're much more efficient to work on. But you have to get to a point where you're kind of working on the new stuff as it comes out. And of course, Conquest characters are always making a big splash when they hit the game, so you have to be ready and willing and able to work on those and relic them. It makes it very hard to go back and work on a project like Leviathan, and even to the extent that when I'm doing roster reviews, I tell people pretty much not to do it. Keep looking forward and keep working on the stuff that's going to be the best for your rewards, for your guild, those kinds of things. Resource allocation toward these older characters, making teams that have been passed up, is not where you really want to be. I'll use the Imperial Remnant as an example. If you were to say, 3-4 months ago that you were going to work on a bunch of troopers, it wouldn't really have made sense. But knowing that Beskar Gideon comes out, he creates a team specifically for the Imperial Remnant. Now it starts to make a lot of sense. Okay, I'll go back to the older content. I'll grab these Remnant characters. I'll work on them, and I'll put them under the Beskar Gideon. So that's kind of how you should work on the older content. When new content comes out that makes the older stuff relevant, you'll pull it into your build path and work on it if that makes sense for your account. Otherwise, looking back over your shoulder is rough. Also, you're going to run a risk that when you work on the older stuff, that they're going to come out with a light speed bundle that sort of just nullifies all your work. So if you'd been working on a gas journey, for example, when they came out with this latest bundle and they just put gas in the game for $50, if you were wanting gas, that $50 spend is really some of the most efficient money you could spend on the game, and it would have nullified all your work that you'd done up to that point. Similar thing, anything like Bad Batch and older, I think, is subject to potentially getting light speed bundled. So working on the older stuff, at least to me, it's risky. There's a risk that you'll work on all that stuff and then it'll come to the game for a low cost that you might have wanted to purchase. In terms of events, if CG continues to provide events like they have with the Gungans and some other stuff in the past, with the Leia journey, they did the same thing. They sort of made characters available in these events and made it easier to go for Leia. If you don't have Leia, there's an event right now that's helping, like on the Lex account, I'm getting Leia characters. So with these events that they're doing, it does allow people to get some of the newer content on a shorter timeline. And let's say you get done with some of the stuff that's currently in the game, and you're looking for the next journey, and you're like, okay, well, I got the Gungans under control. That's good. We're waiting on them to announce either a new galactic legend or a new capital ship or something like that. So what can I build in the meantime? It is honestly possible that the best thing you can do right now is just to save. It's just to save up and not use those materials for anything at all. So as you finish up and get, let's say, caught up, don't go back and look for the Lord Vader journey or the Leviathan journey. Instead, just start cycling those materials into your bank account, right? Keep them. And then the next thing that comes out, or the next character that you get an event for, let's say, for instance, they do an event to follow up like they did with the Gungans, where you could get Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon or any of that stuff to 7 stars faster, having materials ready to go so that you can just drop them on there and take those characters up seems like it could be the solution that a lot of mid-game players should be looking toward. You know, once you're finished up with the stuff that's relevant right now, start saving up materials for the next thing to make it easier. The second solution is, if you catch up and you're saving and you have enough stuff, and maybe you say, okay, I'm saving up stuff. They haven't announced anything that's a big deal to me yet, and I'm sitting on this big bank account of materials. There could be a moment where you say, okay, whatever comes next, I'm willing to get behind again a little bit. I'm going to skip whatever comes next. You'll have an announcement on what's coming next. I mean, you have an idea of what's coming in Conquest, and let's say you say, well, okay, I'm not going to work on Leviathan or a team for him, so I'll skip that section of content, and instead I'm going to just really focus on going back and grabbing the Leviathan or Lord Vader. So I think that's kind of your choices as a mid-game player going forward. That's where I want to get the Loquitur account to, where once I get caught up on the Cal Kestis journey and the Gungans, we'll work on some stuff for Leviathan. I'm convinced that character could be potentially make a really nasty Mon Mothma team, and I'm willing to sort of bet some resources on that. But going forward from there, I'm hoping to get to the point where I'm actually banking materials and we can start working on stuff sort of as it comes out and we get it to 7 stars. That would be ideal. And I know that there are some people in a similar position as Loquitur who maybe spend a little bit of money here and there and ease their Cairo journeys, and they're a bit ahead of me in terms of already working on or done with the Gungans. And for those players, think about storing things up instead of just automatically working on anything you can and applying those materials. So that's my thoughts for the week. That'll wrap up the week 189 update for the Darth Loquitur account. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to like on the way out if you didn't on the way in. Subscribe if you want to see more of my stuff in the future. Notification bell tells you when I'm doing my live streams for GAC. And of course, we've got a nice Discord. The link is up above, down below. It's a great place for players to hang out, ask questions. There's a lot of helpful people that are willing to talk you through, especially for new game players, mid-game players, to help you make good decisions for account building. Hope to see you over there. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next Holocron.